Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Handlebar ASMR. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the 10 resolutions I made for the new year. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, it's a little late to be talking about New Year's resolutions. We're halfway through the first month of the new year. But that's kind of what I want to start this video talking about. A lot of people put high pressure on their New Year's resolutions, whether it be going to the gym, eating better, or doing something. They feel like if they don't immediately start accomplishing the resolutions, that they are failing them, and that's not true. I think the number one thing that we should think about when we make a New Year's resolution is that it can be over the entire year. So, I've already started some of my resolutions, and some of them I haven't started yet because I have a whole year to do it. So don't get discouraged if you've had resolutions and you haven't really been on top of them. You have a whole year. It's all about being better this year than you were last year with something that you want to do. And sometimes it can be silly resolutions. To be honest, this handlebar mustache was a New Year's resolution for me. I said, I already done the gym, already eat pretty good, so this year I'm going to grow a handlebar mustache. And the first little bit of it when I had a super trooper mustache was absolutely horrible until my friends told me that I should probably grow a beard along with it. After that, I've kept it. So you never know when one of your resolutions is going to be something that you fully adopt into your life, even if it's just a silly handlebar mustache. But with that being said, I'm going to go over my 10 New Year's resolutions with you right now. So, number one, and my most important resolution for this year is I'm going to try to get better at ASMR. I know my ASMR is hit or miss. Sometimes it's pretty good. Sometimes it's really bad. But I am trying different things. I didn't want this to be just the same thing over and over and over again. So when I try new things, sometimes they work. And sometimes they really don't work. And that's where you guys come in. Your feedback, your comments, it really helps me at getting better, and I need to do more research. But I kind of want this to expand into other things. You know, I've been doing more things on health, supplements, and I want it to kind of continue to grow into more things that I love and care about. And I want your feedback as to what works and doesn't. So, number one, get better at ASMR, and I'm relying on you to help me with that. Number two, and this one's when I started last year, but it's like I said, last year I got better. This year it's in my resolutions again, and I'm gonna just try to get better again, and that is to become more mindful. And so you're thinking, what is mindful? And I'm sure a lot of you have actually been hearing more mindfulness and becoming more mindful. Well, mindfulness is the ability to kind of shut off that voice that's inside your brain that's always chattering and always talking, and kind of live inside the moment. You know, for the longest time, I thought that it was kind of a good sign that my brain would never shut off. I was always thinking about something, always pondering about things, and it was really hard to actually go to sleep at night because that's when my brain really kicked in. And that's when I started looking into mindfulness. Mindfulness is kind of being able to meditate in the moment and shut that voice off in your head, because that voice isn't always you guys. Have you ever had your voice in your head say something and you're like, whoa, did I think that? It's not always you, and it's okay to turn it off sometimes and relax. In fact, it's really so mindfulness is still on my resolution list this year. And it kind of plays into my next resolution, which is I need to do more yoga. So I've started taking yoga classes again. For those of you that have not taken yoga, you may think, oh, it's stretching, it's fun. Yoga's pretty hard, and it's not always fun. But when you're done with it, there's so many benefits from it. Not only to your body, but to your mind. It's one of those things that actually helps you become more mindful. So it's kind of like a double punch on that mindfulness. And I've actually, over the past year, I've gained about 7 pounds of, hopefully, muscle. I can kind of feel it, but I lost a lot of my flexibility. I actually bought a back scratcher the other day because I can't really scratch my back anymore. And that's kind of embarrassing to say, but it's just because I lost so much flexibility. So doing the yoga helps me not only with flexibility, but also with that mindfulness that I'm working on. My next resolution, my 4th resolution, is I'm going to read more books. I already am a pretty avid reader, but I believe you can't ever read too many books. And I love reading books, but I don't give myself the time to read books like I should. And I think that's a lot of us, that we sacrifice a lot of the things that we enjoy doing just because we don't think we have the time to do it. But, in a day, when you really look at what you do, you can always find a little bit of time for yourself, and you need to do that. And I've also joined Audible. I listen to audiobooks in my car when I'm going places or when I'm on the treadmill, and it's really enjoyable. So that's another one of my resolutions. Number 5, and this one is going to have to happen pretty soon because it's already January, but one of my favorite things to do is snowboarding. I absolutely love snowboarding. The first time I ever went snowboarding, I absolutely hated it because I thought I should be better at this than I am. But luckily I gave it another shot and got a little bit better. And after that, it just became one of those things that I am very passionate about and love. I love snowboarding. I love the feel of being in the mountains. I love snow. And you had flying down the mountain as fast as you can, or just taking a nice leisurely carve down the mountain. And I love it. And last year I didn't go one time. I tried to go and it actually rained and ruined the snow. So I missed out a whole year of doing something that I love. And this year I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go snowboarding at least a few times this year. It's a lot harder on the East Coast than it is on the West Coast, depending on where you're at on the West Coast. But for me, it's pretty hard. We have relatively mild winters around here, and even traveling to go snowboarding doesn't always work out. So I'm hoping for some cold weather, and I'm hoping to get out there and hit the mountain. So the next one is something, it's one of those resolutions that is not fun, but something I need to do. And that is, I need to do more cardio. I've been on a 2-year gain, pretty much. I used to run, do a lot of cardio, and then when I decided that I wanted to get bigger, I was like, I have an excuse not to do cardio. And that excuse really set itself up inside of me to where I hate doing cardio now. I have started running some on a treadmill, and I do not like running on a treadmill. I do prefer running outside. Running is one of those things that although I hate it, I'm not terrible at it. I did forget that I'd signed up for a half marathon, and then 4 months after I had not been running at all. That is 4 months of not running. I'm stubborn, and I ran that half marathon and actually made pretty good time. So I'm not terrible at running. I just really don't like it. But one of the things that I'm going to do this year is I actually enjoy to trail run. It's kind of like I get to hike and I have to run. So, and it keeps my mind occupied. The thing about running is I get bored. It's not really the physical activity. I just get bored. So trail running, I'm watching my feet and I'm having a good time. I'm out in nature. I'm in the woods. And so I'm going to do more trail running, but I am going to do the cardio at the gym and everything. And I'm going to see how long and how many times I can keep that up. And on the health thing, I'm going to start eating more vegetables. So that's number 7. It's not that I don't like vegetables. I absolutely love vegetables. I love salads and everything like that. But I will admit, I'm really lazy when it comes to cooking and preparing food. And normally vegetables have to be prepared. So a lot of times I will find like processed foods or protein shakes or power bars, and I'll eat them because my goal is to be full rather than really the enjoyment. I will go out and enjoy meals sometimes, but usually I'm not preparing them myself. I am getting better at making more meals for myself and using more vegetables, but this year I'm really putting an emphasis on eating more non-processed and more vegetables. So the next one, which will be number 8 on my list, is going to have to happen this summer, and I want to learn to whitewater kayak. I enjoy kayaking on the lake, and I know it's completely different to go whitewater kayaking, but it's something I really am interested in learning, and I want to do. I usually try to learn something new every year. Snowboarding was one of my resolutions, that I was going to go and finally try snowboarding, and after I did, I ended up loving it. So I have a feeling that I'm really going to like whitewater kayaking. We'll see. I'm sure this summer you'll hear more about it, whether that I liked it or I didn't, but it's on my list and I'm going to give it a shot. I'm also this summer going to ride more roller coasters. I love roller coasters and I love amusement parks. This one actually plays in a little bit on my niece. My niece, I always get her a season pass to like one of our local amusement parks around here, and it's taken me 3 years of constant prodding and almost just a little bit, not really bullying, but tough love to get her on all of the roller coasters at this smaller amusement park. After she got on them, she's loved them, but getting her on them is a little bit of a tough part. So for Christmas this year, I bought her a season pass to Six Flags, so we're going to be traveling to Six Flags, riding more roller coasters, and I plan on, of course, going back to Cedar Point this year, which is the roller coaster capital of the world, and I love it. And I want to take a trip down to Texas and ride the Joker roller coaster that they have. It looks really awesome. And if you've never heard of Carowinds, which a lot of people haven't, you should visit Carowinds. It's a really awesome place, and a lot of times there's not big lines there, because normally when I tell people, have you been to Carowinds? They're like, what's Carowinds? It's an awesome place. You should try it out if you get the chance and love roller most important of all of my resolutions this year. I'm going to have more game nights or small group nights with my friends. It's something that I try to do pretty often. Last couple of years, I've been kind of falling back on it. I mean, I'll go places with my friends. We'll usually hang out, but it's been larger group settings, parties, stuff like that. But I really want to have more close-knit, fun nights with my friends where we can just hang out, relax, and enjoy each other's company. Game nights are a really good way of doing that. I used to have mystery box nights where we would do the solve the mystery, and I may start those back up again. But one of the most important things in life is having close friends and giving them the amount of time that they need and you need to be with them. It's hard sometimes. We all are busy. Life is busy. But this year, I'm going to do more things for myself and give myself the time that I need to do the things that I love. And hopefully you will too. And like I said, if you've kicked off your New Year's resolutions and you may not be doing so hot, just pick yourself back up. You got a whole year to do it. Have fun. And all you have to do this year is be a little bit better than you were last year, and you are a success. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Handlebar ASMR. I hope that you'll join me for another episode, and thanks again. And remember, I'm relying on you to help me get better at ASMR this year. So please give me feedback, give me comments, and thank you for your subscriptions. It's been a pretty awesome year. And like I said, it's just time to get better. Thanks again.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.